Okay, we can go ahead and start with the first of the presentations. It'll be from Randy KF40 about his ham clock.
Are we on? That good? Okie dokie. So you can spend $3,495 and get your own ham clock to hang on the wall. Or this is a little cheaper one. This is only $95. But actually it's free now. You can get the software for free, and you can program it into Raspberry Pi. My brother actually did that. He should be checking in here in a little bit, but not hard to do that. But if you don't want to program, then you go with this Quadra, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight. And it's already programmed. You get the bundle. It's like $49. And this is the little module here. It's already programmed. And the bundle includes your the fan, your stand, the USB port here. And you can get a little, if you don't have a USB keyboard, you can get one for $10. They're nice and handy. So, next slide. Yeah. So you get the software, and this is the setup, and you can customize about everything. You got put your call in and put your grid where you are. If you want to do it, actually integrates with FT8 real nicely. I've done that in the past. You can do DX cluster. You can set that up. It'll control the rig, control your rotor. A lot of things you can do with it. This is where you would center your map. Again, this is just all customizable, just as you set up, and you can change that at any time, your colors and all that good stuff. So this is the way a fellow in England has his setup. You can see you have 8 different windows, and you can project this on your on a monitor on your TV set. I use mine on my I've got a little laptop that I use. You have to use a video card if you use a laptop. I'll have a link for that a little bit later on. But this is my setup. This is what I do. No, it's just a little laptop that I've got, and I took a picture of it. Yeah, it'll drive a TV. Anything HDMI. Yeah, HDMI. Yep. Anything. If you use it on a computer, though, you'll have to get a video capture card. So this is the way I have mine set up. And yeah, I've got this panel, solar wind. This is the weather where I am. You can't really see this. This is these are live spots here. Are we in focus? Yeah. Oh, it's getting worse. And these are contests, the next contest coming up this weekend. And your call sign, your time. This is actually time for your home site here, and this is DX. I have my DX set in Taiwan, which is where I was for 30 years. So so let's go through each of the windows. What's going on here? Oh, there we go. Okay. It's going to be hard to see this, unfortunately. But you can see you have 4 different options for this window. You can do beacons, which is the top one. You can do solar weather, which is what I use. Yeah. So solar weather I particularly like. We'll look at that in just a little bit later. This next window has just so many options you can do. And unfortunately, I can't see all this. You can do it for Aurora. Yeah. Actually, let me walk over. Can you see it clear over there where you are? Can you turn your computer
the window is not changed on Zoom.
Okay, they're much better. Okay, good. So let's see here. Oh, we've got the people in the way there. We'll just go to the next slide. It'll have the same options there. There we go. Okay. So you can set up, each of these windows, you can have an Aurora here, you can have contest, you can have the DRAP, you can DX cluster, the moon, parks on the air, summits on the air, any of those things. You can do sunspots, and you can do actually two or three at a time, and it'll rotate through those things that you have. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4 windows now. And then your, whoops. Okay, this is where your call sign is. You can change your colors. You can change your background colors. You can customize anything that you want to do really with your time. And yeah, and then this next window is actually the DE is where you are. So that's your home. That's where we are right there. That gives you your time, and you can, yeah, it's got a lot of different things. You can set that up also. DX cluster, parks in the air, summits on the air also. Now this bottom window is really interesting. I have it set up as my DX, which is Taiwan, the stats for that. But you can also set it up for satellites. So in other words, if we have all these satellites here, if you click on the ISS, the space station, which unfortunately is going to be gone within the year, you can see, it's hard to see this, but you can see the setting, the time that it comes into the view. It gives you the angle, and you can see it here on the map. It's really hard to see on this screen, but you can see the track as it goes through here and flies through there. So that's that screen. Again, very customizable. Yep. Gives you the elevation. You can't, unfortunately, you can't see it on that slide, but gives you the elevation where it comes in southeast and goes to northwest. So that's really nice. And this is the sort of the main screen, this big area here that's customizable. So many different options here: countries, terrain, your MUF, the Aurora, the weather. I have mine set for the Aurora, which are the green bands there. We'll talk about that a little more in a bit. And your grids, I have mine set up with the tropics, but you can do, yeah, you can do any of your grids there that you like. And projections, you can change your projections, night. Let me show you the bottom one there. It says cities. So you see you have your live spots right there. And so this is 20 meters. All the yellow shows you what's connecting 20. So if I go over and click on this dot right there, I find that city is Pietermaritzburg, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa, population 750,000. And over here on the left, it tells you who's spotting that, and his grid gives you the station that is there that's being spotted, and they're on FT8, 14 megahertz there. The spot was 8 minutes ago, and the SNR is like -23. Gives you the temperature and the weather there. Just incredible, the information that you can get from that. So, and then this big map, you can also customize it. You can pick out your DE or your DX, wherever you like that. You can zoom in or zoom out of that. Now, this was just yesterday. This is the reason I like to watch this. If you have, you see here, BZ is -14. So this red means you've got a 90% chance of seeing Aurora. And actually, the green came down into the northern U.S. yesterday. This is a little bit later, but they saw some Aurora up north. So that's really a nice, pretty picture that you got there. So I got your links here. The bundle that we're talking about, there's a site for that, the Ham Clock site itself. I would encourage you just to go here if you're interested and look at the manuals, look at the site. So many reviews, real positive reviews all over the net about this. Here's the link for the video capture card if you want to use it on a computer. You don't really need that if you're just running a monitor or the TV set. So, any questions? Anything that'll hook up an HDMI, you can do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's whoops, where are my slides here? No, but it does. I guess it uses the computer. It does hook up to your Wi-Fi, so you gets everything really from the Wi-Fi. I didn't show you that in the setup, but you can do that too. Good. Yes, sir. Oh, 5. Oh, that's wonderful. So he's wondering about the ISS. Said it was going to be around for 5 years. That's great. I hadn't heard that. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Yeah, one way or the other. Talking about getting the astronauts off of there. Any other questions? It's a nice little bundle. I'll encourage you, if you're interested, just go and look on the sites and check it out. I've really enjoyed it. My brother is on there. He should be KQ4CAN. Oh, there he is, right here. His son got him a Raspberry Pi for Christmas, and so he programmed, put in the operating system, and put in the software, which is free. So he's using Raspberry Pi to do that. I was lazy. I just went in and already had it programmed with the Quadro. So good. Anybody else? Okay. Where'd I get it? Off the web there. That one site that I showed you. Can we go back to the slides? No. Go back to the slides. Yeah, Innovato. Oh goodness. I think that, anyway, the very last slide had all the links on it. And yeah, it was Innovato was where you get it from. And then the software itself was another site there with the manual and everything. So easy to get, easy to order, and it comes real quickly. I'm sorry. No. He's wondering about the projections. No, there were about 5 or 6 different projections that you can use. Yeah, any way that you can customize it, you can do it. Very adaptable. Good. Okie doke. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to stay muted so I can use this mic, but if you could pin my pin the one with the drawing of me. Okay. All right. And I'm going to stay muted. All right. So hi, I'm Aurora. Oh, hey. We have a late arrival. I'm Aurora, KN4VXB, and I am here to talk to you about an idea I have of getting ham radio out more in the community, because I'm really motivated to do this because I look around and I go, you know what? I am a little bit on the younger edge of the demographic here. And I don't want to be doing this by myself. Eventually, I want to get more people my age and more people y'all's age. Everyone can be a ham. More people involved, more people, because I tell people I'm a ham all the time, and they're like, "What's that?" And yeah, and I want us to have more visibility. Oh, I just lost my mic. I did? Okay. I want us to have more visibility out in the community. And so I had this idea of we should have like an outreach booth. I do a lot of outreach for the North Carolina Entomological Society, and we have a booth, and we go to things like museums and festivals, and we have bugs, and we show people, and we talk about bugs, and people love that. I'd like to have the equivalent of that for ham radio, and we can go places like Hillsborough Last Fridays, or the Science Expo, or the SciTech Expo at the museum in Raleigh, different places, preferably within the kind of OCRA DFMA purview. And then and people will be like, oh yeah, those are the ham radio folks. They have a cool exhibit. I'm going to check that out. Or little kids are going to be like, oh, I got the coolest thing at the ham radio club. I'm going to be a ham when I grow up. So that is my goal here. And so what I have built is a little exhibit that I'd like to be part of that. I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to open up the floor. This is not me talking at y'all after that. I want a brainstorming discussion where y'all come up with other ideas of cool things we could have at our table and where we could do it. And then maybe some of y'all would like to join me, because this would be real lonely to do by myself. And I'd really like to have some company and like enthusiasm from other people who are excited about ham radio. So first I want to show you, oh, I got to plug it in. Hold on. All right, so what you can see on your screen is this little exhibit, and I'm going to move the camera around so to kind of highlight parts of it. So over here, try not to make y'all seasick, we have a Raspberry Pi Pico, which is a microcontroller. It's kind of similar to an Arduino, if anyone's heard of that. And it's just a little thing you can just put some programming and Python and tell it to do very simple things like turn on and off this pin, read the input from the sensor, that kind of thing. It's about the level of complication you could use to run a vending machine, maybe a little bit more. It's a little more powerful than Arduino, but it's not like a Pi computer. It's not a full-on thing that you can like run an operating system off of. That's particularly complex. And I've also hooked up to it a small RFID reader. For those who are not familiar, RFID is a way of using radio waves to trigger a small, there's a tiny antenna. See that circle of wire? That's the antenna. And forgive me if I'm telling all you hams something that you already know. There's a small microchip, and this is exactly how when you scan your credit card at the store, same technology, or if you have a badge to get into a company, same technology. The radio waves actually give just enough power to this antenna, and that power makes the chip give a little ID signal that says, this is this chip ID. And many of them, they don't have a battery. There are some that have batteries, but the most common ones don't have a battery. They're completely passive. And it's a really cool, and in my opinion, magical technology for kids. Because every time I do it at the store, my son is like, does that work? So I thought this would be a cool way of using radio to teach about radio. And there's also a MOSFET that this is connected to. And the whole thing is portable. I've got a little 12-volt battery in that white cube and a little power pack that powers via USB the microcontroller and the RFID reader. And so I'm going to try to get this. Can you see this well enough from this angle? Do I need to adjust it all? Okay. And so the idea for this exhibit is kind of making connections for kids and other adults out in the community, like how is radio something that you use in your life, and then teaching some cool facts about electromagnetic radiation. Namely, it comes in different wavelengths, and that affects how it works. And so after giving a short spiel about what a wavelength is and electromagnetic radiation and what things you have in your house that you think are powered by radio, and hopefully someone will be like, a cell phone, my Wi-Fi, GPS unit. And if they don't know those things are powered by radio, it's a great way to tell them. Then I'll have cards, and I've just written on the cards for right now, things like GPS and Wi-Fi and cell phone. But for the actual exhibit, I'll have like some pretty pictures for kids who can't read and that kind of thing to make it a little more visual. And I've made here on this display LED strips that correspond to wavelengths used by those types of equipment. So it becomes kind of a game that someone can play. It'd be like, how long do you think the radio waves are for your cell phone? How do you think that compares to the radio waves that are used by your Wi-Fi? And you can maybe give you some information about, like, you know, walls might block this radiation level more than this one, and that kind of thing. And so then what the kids can do, or adults, or whoever wants to play with this, you say, this one says Wi-Fi. So the 6 to 12 centimeter bands, or 6 to 12 centimeter wavelengths light up on the thing. What about GPS? You can put this on and it gets scanned. The 20 centimeter band lights up. What about your cell phone? Well, there's actually a wide range. So the 12 through 50 centimeters light up. And this is just a little one. I want to make this longer so it goes all the way across, and I want it to go all the way to 2 meters. And if I want to be really extra and I had the space to do it, I would have like a stand like 20 meters away that with a little like light on it, be like, can you find the 20-meter one? That's what ham radio people can use. You know, like I want to, this is just a kind of, this is what I could build over the past couple of weeks. I'd like to make it, you know, even bigger so that we can talk more about some of the bands that we use as hams. And then just for fun, I've got one labeled Disco Party that just makes the lights do fun things. The other idea I have for an activity for kids is I've gotten these little, let's see, can I hold it up to the thing? All right. So what this is they're just little coloring circles that are conveniently branded on the back with, ooh, let me see, I'm trying, back way, with our name and our website on it so that they will always remember who we are. But the front, before it's glued on, the kids can color it. And then in the center, there is a little, it's got the same kind of antenna that an RFID chip has, but instead of having a microprocessor that sends information in the middle of it, it's got a little tiny LED. And if you get it close to the RFID sensor, I hope you can see this from there. You see, you can't see. I promise you, it lights up. So they're making basically, so I can pitch this to a kid. Hey, would you like to color something? And then we can put a magical sticker on it that will sense radio waves. And you can take this when your parents go to the gas station or when you go to the grocery store, and you can put it up to things and you can see which ones are letting out radio waves of a particular wavelength. And it glows. And my kid was amused. And I think my husband was amused. So I'm fairly certain other people will be amused. And it's a way to get our name out in the community because it'll have our name and address on the back of it. And we can also put DFMA on here. Not trying to be exclusive, y'all. We can do both. And I had a couple, I have a couple different designs. I've got like a moon, and I've got a cute little circuit board that it'll glow. So these are my ideas for something that I want on a display table. And that's the end of the show and tell of that. If you have questions about that, you can ask them. But I think more important than that is I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to have a brainstorming session of what other things could we have. And I will type them on the screen as we go, or someone else who is not holding a microphone could type, which had I thought about that would be great. Is there a stand for this? No. Okay. So the first two things I wanted to brainstorm about, and feel free to, you don't have to do it in either order. Where would you want to do this? And what other things could we have that would be cool to show off? That might be enticing to people. That could be fun for kids. That could be fun for the parents of the kids who we've now lured in with some fun games and coloring stuff. Yeah, you feel free, if there are folks on Zoom, feel free to just kind of to chime in. Or you can, if you don't want to speak, you can also put it in the chat and Dan can relay that. A code oscillator. Okay. Okay, y'all, I can't spell. Yeah. There we go. The fatal weakness of my plan. Oh, that's a great idea. And I should add, the rule for brainstorming is you can brainstorm anything. We're going to go back after this, and so no one can say no. I'm going to only be like, yes, I'm putting this on the list. And after we get done brainstorming, then we go back through and be like, which one of these is the most practical? Which one of these is going to give us the biggest bang for our buck? So there are no wrong answers here, folks.
What about the Museum of Science here in Durham?
Okay, I'm typing as people say. So that we've got the fair, we've got the Science Museum in Durham.
Yes. Or make a
typing.
presentation at the School of Math and Science in Durham.
Oh, school School of Math and Science in Durham. I think everyone, if
Yes.
they're on. Do other people wish to go? So what I would suggest for people on Zoom is if you could either physically raise your hand if your video is on, or use your use the raise hand feature. And then Dan, can you call on those people as you see it? Can you act kind of as net control for Zoom? Okay.
Yeah, this is John, if you hear me.
Okay, I got John. Yes.
Yeah, maybe at least one thing comes to mind. I've had kids be real fascinated with just a simple telegraph set where you have a key and on one side of a table and some wires going across and a battery and a sounder on the other side, and have a little chart of what the Morse code is, the dots and dashes. And quite often they'll get interested in playing with that and trying to send a message to each other. Another thought is, in my mind, a lot of what you've already shown is just really fascinating because I'm familiar with it, but I don't know that I would have actually been making the things you've been able to make. But I'm very impressed. But I'm thinking some of us are thinking in terms of maybe what would be a poster that would show pictures of maybe radio stations, like typical receiver, transmitter, or something like that, or a picture of an antenna, or that's more high frequency related, or VHF, UHF related, and maybe even a satellite, something to do with satellite communication and tracking and so forth. That's kind of just a rough thing, but first things pop in my mind.
These are all great ideas.
Jose, KD4JWF.
Wait, hold on, Jose. We got someone speaking in the room, then you can go.
Have a recording where you've bounced off the satellite and spoken with someone in the States, and maybe have your antenna there. And
That's also good. All right, now Jose, you can go.
No, sorry about that. Since we do a lot of stuff with Raspberry Pi and stuff, do the Raspberry Pi a basic connection to a radio, and like I said, a lot of the younger generation, they're more into the whole technology base, because you can even remotely access, you know how you connect the programs to a radio remotely with a headless Raspberry Pi connected to a radio, and they go to a computer and run those programs, so they can see like, oh, this is more than just me talking on the radio as well, but you can also connect to my computer and play along.
Great suggestions. Are there more suggestions within the room? Just raise your hand. I'll bring you the mic. Okay, hold on.
On the code oscillator, obviously you have a key, but you also need to have you need to have some way to actually display the Morse code, so they can actually see. They can send S and and actually see S pop up.
So an idea for like a live Morse code decoder, maybe another Pi project. Sherry.
Radio controlled things, cars, radio controlled cars or something.
Yeah. Oh, and so I'm hearing drones, radio cars. These are all good. This is hard to both be the note taker and the lead person. Okay, so drones. Key decoder. And okay.
One other thought to add.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm thinking, Aurora, I don't know if you were able to come to the OCRA Christmas party a year ago or something, but some of us made some little antennas, miniature antennas that were given away as gifts after table things. And antennas are always interesting just to see the different shapes of them, you know, vertical antenna or a
Ooh.
beam antenna or a cubic or quad antenna. And those are pretty easy to make, to just set out as little displays, and maybe some people in the club could make some more of those that would be appropriate to take and set on the table.
Who made the originals?
Well, Dan Edelman and myself and Bill Bischoff and maybe Wilson, I think, helped, and Bruce.
Okay.
But we were all kind of involved in it.
It was a collaborative effort. Okay.
Yes,
D.
right. And maybe a title to them or something like that, you know, just a name on them.
That's a great idea. It could be like a matching game, like which is the Yagi or something like that.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Okay, Tim, go ahead and then we'll get to D.
Yeah, I was thinking about small fox hunts. I mean, tied in with like the Civil Air Patrol and so forth. If somebody's lost in the woods with their FRS radio, there's been instances where, you know, amateur radio has been able to listen to the frequency and help direct people to where it goes. And you could do a small, not a fox hunt per se, but to demonstrate within a room, even to say, okay, notice when I turn the antenna this way and that way, we've got the fox way over there. You know, now you can find that fox.
That is a great idea. All right, D. Wait, no, hold on. D's next. You need me.
Actually, going back to the CW thing, we did a thing at a middle school in Durham. This is now probably 10 years ago, and we had a Morse keyer and so on. And I don't remember his name, but he had a radio there and so on. So people were playing. We had a list of the table of Morse code, and somebody was keying something else. And so this guy addresses the girl, says, "Hi," was it Linda or whatever it was? He could hear the code and decode it. And she, you know, he had to assume that was her name, but she was startled, you know, so this is a human decoder that might be interesting.
Okay. So hold on, let me add this live decoder. All right. PCLT.
Yeah, if it's an outdoor setting, it's just set up a regular portable station. Also, the way this list here has been populated, there are essentially, you could see different age groups broken down, and all of these things that have been mentioned. So we could have targeted displays based upon the age group of the majority of people we would interact with in a particular location.
Oh, I'm just also ask you for your name and call sign. That's a really good point. That it's not a one size fits all thing. Depending on who we would do something very different from going out into the community versus going to like a kids museum or something like that. Yeah.
I'm sorry. My name is Pat, KO4QLU.
Thank you, Pat. All right. Oh, I got another one in the back of the room. Here's Chip.
Chip, KF4WBK. We possibly could go to some of the farmers markets. A lot of kids show up there.
That is a great location idea too. I'm going to put that on the list. While we're kind of shifting to location, other ideas for locations. Hog Day. That was originally where I wanted to do this year. Because someone, I think it wasn't my idea, someone suggested, oh, we should do an outreach at Hog Day. And by the time I had like looked into it, they had filled up with vendors. So Hog Day, maybe next year, but I think Hog Day is a great idea. Yeah, but
Yeah, Aurora?
yes,
Yeah, this is John again, KX4P.
sure.
Least I forget it. It's not a location, but it's something else maybe for an exhibit that is all, I think, an attention getter is have a microphone, like a desk microphone that's an impressive looking microphone available, and maybe a headset that people could actually put on. And in the headset, you could have something, I don't know what you would have, either code, or maybe you'd have a foreign broadcast station, because shortwave listening is also a big aspect for some people, or it used to be, and may still be.
Got it. Thank you. Does anyone know if, I know Hillsborough has last Fridays, does Chapel Hill or Durham have some equivalent thereof? And it might be a first Friday or last Friday. I'm just, you know, and I know it should be capitalized, folks. I'm just typing one-handed here. All right. I think, oh, yes, I see several people in the chat. So, Jose.
Yeah, I was thinking that a lot of people in the Chapel Hill, Scarborough, even in the Durham area, they go a lot to the local parks to do hiking. We can set up one of those areas to promote it, as we also do Parks on the Air, and just to, you know, there's a lot of people that participate on these hikings on the greenways.
Excellent suggestion. All right, Sam.
Oh, I was always thinking that like the Eno River Festival might be nice to have a table. I see a lot of other nonprofits and interest clubs set up there, but I don't think we've ever gone there. But that's a huge crowd.
All right, and forgive me, Keith Selt.
Yeah, it's Pat again, KO4QLU. Food truck rodeos. I know they're held periodically throughout this area, and they tend to draw a lot of people.
Yeah, that would be fun. And then we'd always have snacks. Essential for ham radio and long term. Thank you.
And I was going to mention the Eno River, the Eno Fest, but it's already happened this year. That's July 4th weekend.
That's fine. We can look into it for next year. Just have more time to prepare.
But that gentleman beat me with that.
Great minds think alike.
This is Ken, KO4DHJ.
Yeah.
Do they still have school assemblies where people come in and speak about a particular topic?
I mean, I have no idea. They did when my kid was little, so.
I'm just wondering. I'm thinking back, 50 years. We used to have, guest speakers come in for, a myriad of reasons. Usually it was job related, with, whatever type of company or business that they were with to promote that business. But, this just a thought. If they had, some senior or high school assemblies, that might be something that we could approach.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It is on the list. I'm going to open this back up to the room. I just want to make sure people in the room have more. Are there more ideas before I go back to Zoom? All right, Pat, you had another idea.
Yeah, school, if we could get permission from the public school authorities, schools have science fairs. And you know, if it was an elementary school science fair, we would choose their activities. If it were a high school, there'd be other activities geared to that age group. And I know there are like regional science fairs.
Yeah, that's a cool thing to look into.
And I think kids that are participating willingly in science fairs would tend to be receptive to something like this.
Yes, agreed. I think there is the Venn diagram of people who like science fairs and people who might become hams. There's a fair amount of overlap there.
Do they
All right.
still have, do they, this again, KO4DHJ, do they still have a merit badge for ham radio in Boy Scouts?
I do believe so. They did at least as a few years ago because I knew someone who was a ham who was helping a club with that. So Scouts.
You know, there's a bunch of them out there. I wonder who's doing that.
Yeah, I know people who are Scout leaders. I can ask. That is another
Okay.
great suggestion. All right, so now comes the big question. Who is interested in doing this with me? Because I know y'all all are the kind of people who volunteer for a bajillion things. But let me tell you, outreach is really fun. Engaging with the community is really fun. Coming up with cool exhibits to build, like when I wasn't tearing my hair out because I tried to get to this to work with an Arduino first and it didn't work. This was really fun. Chip, I got you. All right. And so this is after the meeting, I will follow up with an email and we can go through this list, the people who are actually interested in doing it, and decide which of these things that we have the most time for and which of these things are the most affordable and can give us kind of the most bang for our buck. So I've got Chip. Okay, Wilson is only interested if we do the food truck rodeo.
There we go. Jose?
Jose, okay.
Yeah, this is John, KX4P. I'd be interested.
Okay. I'll be like indoors. Indoor or fall and winter. Yeah, I was not planning. I was aiming for the October last Friday because I figured that would be nice temperature and the lowest chance of rain. So that was my thought for the first attempt at this. But if we need a little more time to get stuff together, we can also do that. But there's nothing like a deadline to motivate you to do a project. So anyone else? All right. Wait, Steve, you're nodding and raising your hands and saying, like, is that I'll do it, but I don't want to volunteer for one more thing? Maybe Steve. All right. Did I interpret that correctly? Okay. All right. Well, that is all that I have today. I want to thank you all so much for the awesome brainstorming session. And these were really great ideas. And hopefully we can act on them with the team of people who are interested in continuing to do it. And I will be in touch with y'all who volunteered and we'll make this happen. Thank you.
One thing I'll add to that, this past summer, the church I'm a member of was starting a seniors group and decided to have everybody come to the church and meet and bring whatever you had to do for a hobby. So I managed to borrow some coax from John and set up a couple portable antennas and actually had a ham radio set up and was talking to people there at the event. And some people were just totally amazed that I could talk to somebody in Italy and Russia and Poland and stuff. So and they were all older adults. So even a youngster will be even more amazed by something like that, especially if you can get a conversation going. Anything else to be discussed? Well, Bob had said that the repeater is up and working now, so.
I was thinking, what might be dazzle the kids is FTA, because you can contact a lot of different countries easily. And if you had a map, you could have them put pins in every time they see a new country. And you have all these pins. Yeah. Yeah, but actually have to put a big map, actually go put a pin in there.
Any other new topics for discussion?
Totally unrelated. We will have a ham pie meeting virtually this time. Our shop tour has been rescheduled and probably till after the new year, but we will have a meeting. There is no ham pie in September, but October is supposed to be a POTA day at Okanichi Mountain. So keep those things. And if you're not on the ham pie list, you're welcome to email me and I'll put you on.
The other thing you can do is the announcement you got for this meeting. At the very bottom of it is a link to your OCRA profile. Click on that and go down and choose ham pie, and you'll be on a distribution list.
Read the instructions. Amazing.
Just a reminder that this coming Saturday at 10 o'clock, we'll have our next volunteer exam session right here. So if nobody wants a new license, send them our way. You're good, Dean.
Okay, then I guess that's a wrap. Thank you for coming.
Hey, can I make one more comment?
Can
Yeah.
we stop you?
Yeah,
ahead.
this is John, KX4P. I just wanted to let people know the next meeting, I think, for OCRA is September the 9th. And there's a couple of personal friends of mine that are going to remotely do the program. One of them, or both of them are DXers. One of them's pretty new at it, but just a big avid DXer. And they put on several programs in their state called Passion and Joy of Chasing DX. And I think they're well prepared and experienced to give a program, and they're looking forward to doing the next program for us September the 9th. And I think it'll show you a lot of the links that they use for DX operating in different modes and maybe some examples and all that sort of thing. So anyway, I thought I'd put a plug in for the next meeting also. Appreciate Randy and also Aurora for doing the meeting tonight. Yeah. So that's it. I just wanted to make a couple of comments.
September 9th. Any other comments from anybody else on Zoom? Nope. Okay. We'll go ahead and shut it down. All right. Thank you again for coming.